Hello, YouTubers. It's Iconical here. I'm just doing another deck list update. I haven't done one in a while, I know, but just wanted to do a new overview of it. Some things have changed. There's still questions to be answered with this deck. It is clearly good. I mean, every time I go to my locals, I top 8, but lately they've been playing out top 4 anyways because they're all a bunch of greedy people that want to win with their fucking prophecies and elemental dragons. But there is some rogue decks there. I mean, there's evil swarms and stuff like that. I mean, that's not really rogue, but I did play against, like, cocky Marus and stuff like that, so. Anyway, let's get started with the deck list. I got 3 Andel, same, hasn't changed. 3 Liquori hasn't changed. 2 Darius, 2 Equest, none of those have changed. Marmilla and Retiari, and Bestiari haven't changed. Retiari is one of the questionable cards I'm going to pull out for later on. We're going to have a discussion on it. 3 Chariot, 3 Respite, still got 3 Respite, all 3 of these are questionable. The Respite, if you don't know what it does, send 2 Gladiator Beast cards back to your deck, draw 3 cards, does not work with Proving Ground, but it does work with itself and Chariot. Got 2 Forbidden Lance, 3 Mystical Space Typhoon. We got 2 Rescue Rabbit and 2 Tour Guide. Don't question the Tour Guide. The Tour Guide are, like, necessary. There's no reason not to run 2 Tour Guide. I don't run anything else for them. You're never going to draw 2 Tour Guide together, and I mean, I haven't. But when you do, it's not even that bad. Just summon it, especially summon the other one. You're still going to get a plus off of it because your rabbits are usually banished anyways. And everything recycles itself, and I'll just keep going back to the deck. Respite's one of the fuels for that. But you also use, usually whenever you have a rabbit, you're just going to banish, special summon 2, and then contact Feast for Esadari. New addition was Test Tiger. Test Tiger, I mean, I've taken him out, put him in many times before. Everything's changed with this deck, so I put him in, I took out my 2 bottomless, and then those 2 bottomless turned into Compulse, and then took out the Compulse and put him in. And he was another one of the questionable cards, but I kind of like him now. So those are all the questionable pile. Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, must. I mean, just the Trinity. Solemn Warning, you gotta have it. It's 1. 2 Torrential, 2 Mirror Force. I did have 1 Mirror Force out for a little bit, but there's no reason to have Mirror Force out. I mean, you need 2. You need to stop attacks and summons. And Evil Swarms are one thing that's pretty complex against this deck. You gotta be able to somehow create a chain to Pandemic. So, say you go Mirror Force or something, and then they're like Pandemic, you want to have another Mirror Force, or DP, I mean, you need to have something else that you can chain to Pandemic, that way their stuff does die, because if you chain to Pandemic, that card will activate first in the chain, meaning that all their monsters will blow up, and Pandemic never really does anything. So you need to find some card that you can chain to Pandemic, so you can stop Evil Swarms. That's the only way this deck can stop them. Thunderbird really kills us because there's nothing in the deck with over 1950. So you just gotta kind of watch out for everything and play around it. I mean, that's about it. 2 Dimensional Prisons. Dimensional Prison's great. It's just a great card. I do not know why this card hasn't been hit yet. I don't run it at 3. There's no need to run it at 3, so, you know, one day they might semi-limit it, and I'll just be like, hey, you know what, I was already running 2 anyways. I don't run 3 of anything much, really, except for the 3 Andel, 3 Liquori, 3 Chariot, 3 Respite. 3 MST every deck. I mean, I'd play 3 MST in Exodia. But, got 2 Compulse here sitting out on the side. I was waiting to put them in. I do not know what to replace for them. Compulse is a good card. In my opinion, it's better than Bottomless in this format. But, you gotta question yourself on what to take out for it. So I marked 2 Test Tiger, which is what I originally put in for it. I've been topping 8 every week, but I don't top 4, so, and that's out of like 30 players, so you got to figure out what to take out. It could take out 2 Test Tiger, I could just drop 1. I could drop the whole Respite engine, and then I'd be able to put more stuff in. If I drop the whole Respite engine, though, then my Andels, when they're in my hand, will make my rabbits dead, unless I summon them in something else and then contact Fuse, which I could easily do. And I do that all the time. However, Respite does add some consistency to the deck, and it also adds some inconsistencies. And I'm not going to drop a single Respite and leave 2 in. That wouldn't work, because Respite fuels itself. There's no reason to drop a Respite and then not take all of them out. I mean, I guess that's what I'm doing when I take out Retiari, is I'm making Respite more dead. But I wanted to take out Retiari because he's not used as much anymore. He's not necessary, and when he comes to your hand, he's he's just a Glad that he can tag out. That's about it. He is one of the best Glad. He's the most expensive Glad, but in this format, he's not too great. You're not going to use him that often. The only thing you're ever really going to use him for is graveyard control when you're playing a more rogue deck. So, those are all questionable cards. You just got to find something to take out to put 2 Compulsion. That's what I'm trying to do right now. But as you see, the cards that are in the sleeves, those are what was in my current build at the tournament yesterday, which I topped 8, and then lost to Evil Swarms in top 4. He was a good player, too, so 3 Kirkion and everything. You know, he had everything he needed. And then we'll get on to the extra deck. The extra deck has 2 Geysers. You're not going to need 3. Don't play 3 Geysers. There's no reason to. 2 Esadari. Not going to need 3 once again. But Esadari, I'd run Esadari at 3 before I'd run Geysers at 3. Let me just tell you that right now. Heraclinos, don't really use him that often anymore, but he's still there. He needs to be there. He's an option. Got Leviair. Leviair is your main guy for Tour Guide. Sometimes you draw Tour Guide before Rescue Rabbit's been used, and there's an option for game, so you might want to go for Leviathan. We also got Zenmaines, and Zenmaines is just Zenmaines, so, you know, gotta keep him in there. Ouroboros. Ouroboros is really good. He adds another option with the 3 level 4s. And then you got Shockmaster. Shockmaster is a good option, clearly. And then you got Emerald. Emerald's the new guy I just bought. I'm borrowing Ouroboros and level Chain from my brother. That's the only reason I have those. I really don't want to spend that much money on this deck, so. I got level Chain. Got Cowboy, which is like the most important card. Gemini Pearl and Base Stroke. Took out Utopia for Emerald. Figured I didn't need Utopia. Pearl's more important. You need that 2600 push sometimes. Anyways, that's the main deck and extra deck. Let me pull it to the side real quick. In the side deck, hold up, let me scoop up the extra deck real quick. Alright. In the side deck, we have 3 Overworked. Overworked is, destroys each monster whose attack is higher than its original attack, so it's really good against Fire Fists when they have Tenki or Tenzu or any of that crap. It can work against a few other rogue decks, maybe something that uses Solidarity, but I mean, that's what I played at my locals, was a deck that had Solidarity, so I played 3 of it because Fire Fists are a big enemy for this deck. I mean, I don't like them, even though Glads are supposedly able to beat them really easily. I don't know why I can't. 3 Mind Drain, you need it for the current meta. I mean, that's just clear. Activate by paying 1,000 life points. The effects of all monsters in hand cannot be activated. Hence dragons, or, what's the other guy? Why can't I remember his name? Priestess. High Priestess. 2 Curse Seal the Forbidden Spell. There's another side for, the spellbook matchup. Then we got Shadow Imprisonings. These are the side that you're going to need when playing against Evil Swarms. You absolutely need them. 2 Electric Virus. Electric Virus, in my opinion, is more important than Puppet Plant. I just think that because of my locals. I mean, your locals may have more spellcasters and warriors than dragons and machines, so you just kind of got to weigh it out, and you got to decide because you don't have too much room there. But that's that, so if you want to side against something, you got to figure out now, what are you going to side against? Say you're going against Evil Swarms, what do you side? I mean, I just discovered, when I was at locals, I thought that if I were spited and they dark bribed, that the monsters, they went to the deck as cost, and then dark bribe let you draw 1. I thought that's how it worked, but apparently I looked up online that Respites affect the Send 2 is not a cost unless it resolves. So when they negate the activation of the card with Dark Bribe, you never pay the cost, I guess. So that's how that works. Anyways, when you're siding cards out of this deck, the card you're going to side the most often would be 3 Respite, would be your side. You're going to end up siding maybe 1 Chariot if it's a deck that doesn't use too many monster effects. Now that you've sided out your 3 Respite, you're not going to need 3. You're going to be recycling 2. So there's no reason to need 3. So you can side out one of those possibly. I mean, I'm yet to get this play off. I'm waiting for it. When I go Rescue Rabbit, Banish, Special Summon 2, then Special Summon Test Tiger. Test Tiger, go to the graveyard, and I'll go back to deck. And then Special Summon Bestiari, have a little bit back row. Contact, fuse Bestiari and Andel into Geyseris, then blow up 2 other cards in their field. One thing to remember with this deck is to not be afraid of back row at all. And Heavy Storm needs to be set. Don't leave it in your hand. I mean, just like, if they have back row, or if it's like first turn, just set Heavy Storm, and then set another trap or something. That's what I do with Heavy Storm. You always gotta set Heavy Storm. It's the best way to use the card. Honestly, you get it off much more efficiently, because they're gonna end up thinking, oh, he doesn't have Heavy Storm, so they'll end up setting 3 or something, thinking that they'd go even if you Heavy Stormed, and then you automatically get a +1. And +1s really help with this deck. If somebody goes Max C, stop your play. Don't continue out just doing whatever you're doing, thinking, oh yeah, it's not going to matter. No, it's going to hurt you, so just stop the plays when you're doing that. I was thinking about playing Malevolent Catastrophe, actually. I mean, I really hate back row. You guys are probably already thinking I'm crazy for playing 3 MST, because you guys probably aren't used to it, but just make room for it in your build. I mean, you gotta play 3 MST. You gotta play Heavy Storm. Back row hates, it's the way you gotta play. You gotta hate back row. That's the only thing that really takes out this deck is back row. Everything else is just not really that big of a problem, because you control it with your own back row. So, you just kind of gotta think of that type of stuff. Anyways, that's the deck list. Tell me what you guys think of it in the comments, and yeah, bye.